So today we're working on simplest forms. Your page looks like this, and the simplest form is going to be when the greatest common factor, or the GCF, of the numerator and the denominator is 1. So the simplest form of a fraction is one of its equivalent fractions. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So if we have the fraction 12/22, we're going to find the greatest common factor of both of those. So if I find, so this will kind of be a review for the other day. So if I'm looking for the factors of 12, it's going to be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And the factors of 22 are 1 and 22, 2 and 11. So I'm going to look for the greatest common factors. First I'll look for the common factors, and these both have a 1 as a factor, and they both have a 2 as a factor. And that's it. There are no other common factors. So my GCF is 2. Now, when you're doing this problem and you're trying to find simplest forms, you can try to do this part in your head. If you can't, you can of course write it out like this and figure out what the greatest common factor is. So if I'm looking at here and I don't want to write all this out, I can think to myself, what's the greatest number that could go into 12 and 22? And I might think, well, 4 could go into 12, but that doesn't work for 22. So I might say, well, 3 can go into 12 evenly, but 3 is not a factor of 22. So then I think it must be just 2. So what I'm going to do is I decide that the greatest common factor is 2. And so I'm going to divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. So when I divide the numerator by 2, I get 6. When I divide the denominator by 2, I get 11. And that is the simplest form for 12/22, 12/22.